Hey, here it is.
Thanks, man. Looks like about a 4-iron. Let's see. Play it safe and avoid the trees, or take a chance and go for the green. I'm gonna go for it.
What are you doing? Trees are 90% air. I don't know, it looks pretty risky to me. Nice shot, Tiger.
So what does a golf shot have to do with a socket wrench? Well, aside from some people playing golf like they're using a socket wrench, in the 2 scenes you just watched, somebody made a choice. We all make thousands of decisions a day. What to eat for lunch, who to invite to the party, whether to wear your seatbelt. And for the most part, the consequences of our choices leave us satisfied, except when the bold but ill-advised golf shot whacks into the nearest tree, or the wrong choice of a socket leads to a hand injury. Motivation is defined as something that causes a person to act, usually a need or desire. You eat because you're hungry, but hunger is only a symptom. The real motivation is the survival instinct, the desire to stay alive. So you put food in your mouth because if you don't, you starve. Many times, however, motivation is not that simple. People are motivated by different things. Money and power are just a few common motivators. Motivation leads to a behavior, which has a consequence. At-risk behavior is an action that may result in injury or incident. A safe work practice is a behavior which helps prevent injury or incident. And the key to using safe work practices is your motivation. We're going to focus on 5 key categories of safe work practices. You'll have an excellent chance of working free of injury or incident if you use these practices. The first safe work practice is following procedures. Procedures are the scars from past mistakes and problems. If something hadn't gone wrong somewhere down the line, there would be little need for procedures. Procedures are also evolving constantly to help further prevent injury or incident. The question then becomes, what motivates you to behave in that manner, to follow correct procedure? Do you believe procedures can improve your chances for a safe day? Safe work practice number 2 is this: be aware of your work environment. Now that's not real clear, is it? So it takes common sense to develop this practice. Remember the first time you drove, how focused you were, how you concentrated so hard on seeing everything happening around you. Now it's automatic, seeing what other drivers are doing. And you notice immediately when another motorist does something requiring action on your part. The same can be true of your work environment. The key to raised awareness is considering consequences. What surfaces are hot or extremely cold? Is there anything under pressure? If so, what is it, and how could it affect you? Are there toxic or flammable liquids or gases present? And so on. The more times you do a task, the odds increase that something might go wrong, even when doing a job you've done a million times before. Awareness is critical to preventing injury or incident. So you have to ask yourself, what's your motivation to be aware? Safe work practice number 3 is using the right tool or equipment for the job. What could be simpler than that? What we're talking about here is not just the perception of risk, but what is an acceptable level of risk? Is it okay to use a pocket knife as a scraper? or a screwdriver as a chisel? And how do these choices affect your chances of getting hurt? Safe work practice number 4 is to wear the appropriate personal protective equipment, or PPE, for the job. That's easy enough to remember when your perception of risk is high. For example, during confined space entry. It's harder to stay motivated to wear proper PPE when you think there's not much risk involved in a job. Do you wear safety glasses when you use a weed eater? How about earplugs when you mow the lawn? If you're like most people, safety glasses and earplugs for yard work seem overly protective. Yet, it is during everyday tasks that most injuries occur. The same is true at work. When the risk seems high, people are good about using safe work practices. It's the common task that bites us. If you wouldn't drive without a seatbelt on, why would you grind without wearing goggles and a face shield? Deciding to wear the appropriate PPE as a safe work practice always improves your chances for a safe day.
Okay, so it's like the 7th inning and they got 2 guys on base. Hey, check this out. Hey, boy, look at you. You're a good dog.
You know that dog?
No, but dogs love me.
I don't think that's a good idea.
That's no big deal. Yeah, it's a good boy.
I told you that wasn't a good idea.
The 5th safe work practice involves body use and position. The common term for body position is line of fire. The man petting the dog ignored the potential hazards he faced and went right ahead and placed himself in the line of fire. Line of fire is usually clear on the job. For example, you wouldn't want to place your head under a heavy object that might fall on it, even if you did think it was locked and secured. Think of the consequences of working in a position and act accordingly. Let your motivation to avoid injury be the primary driver in how you position yourself to do a task. Consider the chances. Think of the consequences.
Junior!
Think. Consider the odds. How you use your body can also affect whether you're at risk. Improper lifting technique, for example, places you squarely on the road to back injury. Reaching past your belt buckle on a ladder is high risk. Using a tool the wrong way is not a safe work practice. Now here are the 5 safe work practice categories one more time. Choose to follow proper procedures. Be aware of your work environment. Use the correct tools and equipment for the job. Decide to wear the proper personal protective equipment and stay healthy by avoiding lines of fire. Remember, whatever motivates you leads to action on your part. And any action you take will have consequences. The choice and the responsibility are yours.